Kurt Warner here with Deiondre Hall back at my alma mater, his soon-to-be alma mater, University of Northern Iowa. We're taping an episode of Back to Campus for the NFL Network. Be sure to tune in, find out a little bit more about him, maybe a little bit more about me as well. And action.
We're sending all of our talent from NFL Network back to their original alma maters, and they're catching up with guys going in the draft. So it's just a fun way to get our talent back to school, back to where it all started, back to where, you know, the dream began.
All I wanted for a long time was just give me a chance. Put football in my hand and let me legitimately compete against everyone else. And the great thing is you're going to get that opportunity. Now it's just be ready. You know, who knows what people are going to see, but they're going to get a chance to know who he is. And I think that's one thing we see in this NFL is there's so much talent out there across the board that a lot now goes to personality, character, what else you bring to the table. And I think an opportunity like this is awesome for Deiondre to be able to have that chance to kind of show who he is in a different way.
And I will say this is probably the first time we've ever done a shoot where the shoot was actually a big deal. Like coming back to Northern Iowa, Kurt doing the media availability, doing the press conference, those guys asking so many questions about the shoot and asking Deiondre about what this shoot's going to mean for him. Where usually, you know, we're sort of in the background.
You know what? Kurt, I'm gonna have you walk into it.
I think I have a feel for Cedar Falls. Small town, small college campus, everything's 5 minutes away. We were pretty much basically able to walk everywhere, which is nice.
It's fun that UNI is starting to get on the map, and it's cool. And it's a credit to the programs here, the coaches here, the players here, and then it's fun to see it rewarded when you come back on campus.
Kurt is just a down-to-earth guy. I mean, he is the guy that came from Cedar Rapids. He is that guy. You know, he hasn't changed. Great family man. So, you know, for him to come out of Northern Iowa, it's just a great representation for the school and someone that the school can be really proud of.
You know, David Johnson's success last year, I think, allows a guy like Deiondre to go into a camp and they go, okay, let's keep our eye on this guy because we know good players have come from this program. Even though we may not know as much about him as somebody that played at a bigger school, I think that's where, you know, it kind of sets these guys apart because, hey, let's go get that next guy from there, you know, and you know this guy right here is going to be that next guy. The biggest thing is the flexibility that he can bring. The one thing that I continue to see at the NFL level is, and it really at every level, but we always say the more you can do. The more you bring to the table, the more opportunity you have to make a team and to be an integral part of teams. And here's a guy that can play every position in the defensive backfield. You know, from safety to corner to be able to play in the slot. And I think to me that's probably the greatest thing that he can bring to the table is where do you need me?
Okay. This is like a selfie stick in itself.
It is, honestly. Well, that's what I read something about you that everybody was like in awe of how long you were.
Yeah.
When you look at Kurt Warner's story, it's incredible. It's probably one of the most unique stories you'll ever see in the NFL. I mean, for him to not get drafted, for him to get released out of training camp, for him to come back to school at University of Northern Iowa and be a graduate assistant coach, work at the High V, you know, to persevere through all that and then make it in the Arena Football League, then get picked up by the St. Louis Rams, and then become the starter, and then win a Super Bowl, and then win multiple Super Bowls, and then become a league MVP. I mean, that story is just incredible. So I think for any kid who comes from Northern Iowa, they have such a great inspiration to look at in Kurt Warner that, you know, there's nothing that they can't accomplish.